It was Thursday now. After a week of teaching his disciples and teaching in the temple, spending time on the Mount of Olives with those who would listen, now it was time to turn his attention to his disciples one last time. In the book of Mark, he had sent ahead some of his disciples to give word to prepare a place for him to have the Passover meal. And when it was evening, he came with the 12, and as they were reclining at table and eating, Jesus said, "Truly, I say to you, one of you will betray me, one who is eating with me." They began to be sorrowful and say to him and to one another, "Is it I?" He said to them, "It is one of the 12, one who is dipping bread into the dish with me. For the Son of Man goes as it is written of him, but woe to that man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It would have been better for that man if he had never been born." And as they were eating, he took bread, and after blessing it, broke it and gave it to them, and said, "Take, this is my body." And he took a cup, and when he had given thanks, he gave it to them, and they drank of it. And he said to them, "This is the blood of the covenant, which is poured out for many. Truly I say to you, I will not drink again of the fruit of the vine until that day when I drink it new in the kingdom of God." And when they had sung a hymn, they went out to the Mount of Olives. And Jesus said to them, "You will all fall away. For it is written, I will strike the shepherd and the sheep will be scattered. But after I am raised up, I will go before you to Galilee." Peter said to him, "Truly I tell you," Peter said to him, Peter said to him, "Even though they all fall away, I will not." And Jesus said to him, "Truly I tell you, this very night, before the cock crows twice, you will deny me 3 times. But he said emphatically, "If I must die with you, I will not deny you." And they all said the same. Now they went to a place called Gethsemane, and he said to his disciples, "Sit here while I pray." He left most of his disciples at a point, and then he walked on with Peter, James, and John. And he asked them to wait where they were and pray with him, to stay up and watch. And he went a little further in and he fell down. He said, "My soul is very sorrowful, even to death. Remain here and watch." And going a little farther, he fell on the ground and prayed that if it were possible, the hour might pass from him. And he said, "Abba, Father, all things are possible for you. Remove this cup from me. Yet not what I will, but what you will." 3 times he did this, going back and checking on Peter, James, and John, and each time they were asleep. The 3rd time, after praying this prayer to his Father, he went back, woke up the disciples, and said, "It is time. You've had enough rest." And he said, "Could you not watch 1 hour? Watch and pray that you may enter into temptation. The spirit is needed. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak." And on the 3rd time he came and he said, "It is enough. The hour has come. The Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners. Rise, let us be going. See, My betrayer is at hand. Throughout this night, Jesus would be arrested, chained, beaten, ridiculed, lied about, passed from one governmental leader to another, only to be left back in the hands of Pilate, who, wanting to appease the crowd, agreed to crucify Jesus. Tomorrow we're going to hear about this day, the day of his crucifixion, the day we call Good Friday. Pastor Rick is going to share his thoughts and God's word on what makes this a Good Friday. Why this horrible, tragic day would we call it good? Let's pray. Lord, Heavenly Father, we thank you so much that you willingly carried out the plan that you and your Father had had from the beginning of time. Not that it was a path that you would have chosen, not that it was events that you would desire to undergo, but Lord, you knew the purpose beyond, the greater purpose, to make a people for yourself, to allow a way for their sins to be forgiven, and to enter into right relationship with the Father through your death, burial, and resurrection. Lord, we praise you on this day. Help us to be properly humbled. And we just give you all glory, praise, and honor. And we thank you, Lord, for what you were willing to do to demonstrate your love for us. In Jesus' name, amen. Now, I want you to watch a video. This is a dramatization of someone whose hands prepared the last meal that Jesus shared with his disciples. And I hope that it touches your heart like it's touched mine.
Who do you think prepared the Last Supper? Look, bread, it's easy enough. It's flour, water, a little salt, herbs if you want more flavor. Normally you'd add yeast, but not at Passover. No, at Passover we cannot wait for the bread to rise. Our deliverance from Pharaoh is at hand. So the story goes. Passover is always the same. We eat the bread, we drink the wine, there's lamb, bitter herbs. We remember our deliverance and our coming deliverance. Next year in Jerusalem, we always say, Messiah will come. It's always the same. But sometimes it seems so far away, so complicated. But this year, things were, well, 2 men followed our servant home from fetching water. They were wanting a place to celebrate Passover with their rabbi, and my husband and I, we had an extra room. So I baked the unleavened bread, and I delivered it when they arrived. The rabbi graciously introduced himself, and a horde of 12 men followed him into our upper room. I'd heard about this rabbi. Wild tales of healing blind men, raising the dead, and walking on water. So, naturally, I stood outside the door and I peeked around the corner. And that is when he turned it all upside down. You see, the person who sits at the head of the table isn't supposed to get up and wash other people's feet. But this rabbi, he was moving from man to man, washing each of their dirty feet. Well, I pulled back before I was seen, but still, I listened. I stayed and listened. His words were sure, kind, but like fire, like no rabbi I'd ever heard. If you see me, then you see the Father, he said. He also said that he would be broken for them. He talked of the new covenant and being children rather than orphans. And as the bread was passed, the unleavened bread of deliverance, he said, I am the living bread. Living bread. What could we have understood about that at the time? A new covenant was coming, and our deliverance was at our doorstep. Little did we know that our entire world was about to be turned upside down.